My dear students, good morning to you. These days, we were discussing about the social problems, economic problems, educational problems, and military problems we faced in it. Britishers started their conquest of India in 1757 by capturing Bengal. They went on and captured most part of India physically. Other part of India which were ruled by Indian kings politically. Politically means the Indian kings had no absolute freedom to look after the administration and have foreign relations. The British government captured even the intellectual process by implementing the educational system they thought suitable for them in India. Thus, they dominated, they controlled, they directed. But the people of India were not ready to accept the domination of the British. The outward expression of the unwillingness to subdue before the British was the first war of Indian independence of 1857. British East India Company lost the control of administration and it was taken over by British government. There was no much difference felt for the people of India by the change over. So from 1857 to 1947, a long period, we say. That's 90 years. So the people began to show their unhappiness and acceptance to the British, but they thought how to fight back. Already one failure has occurred. So how to respond? How to capture back the power? How to enlighten the people of India? And British government frankly, provided the educational facilities or educational technologies or educational activities that were taking place in Europe to the people of India. So, the French Revolution of 1789, it has given the idea of equality, fraternity and liberty. The American War of Independence and other revolutions that took place in Europe demanding independent and democratic government brought up the minds of Indian people. Why can't we also strive for a democratic government in India? So, social organizations were formed in Madras, Bombay, Calcutta, etc. That social organizations later educated the public and instilled the feeling of nationalism to the minds of Indian people. That installation, the activity of making a feeling in the minds of the people through educational process, social reform activities, made the people to come together. And some of the Indians who could bear the expenditure went to the foreign countries and came to know the developments there, and they had a feeling for the nation of India or for India. So they came back and began to make the Indians to think, and those Indians who were educated in India also began to think, why can't we have our own governmental or administrative setup? Here and there protests were going on, demands were going on. So one of the retired British officer named Alan Octavian Hume thought to have a national organization which would help the Britishers to know the problems of Indian people and solve them. So when the problems of Indian people are solved, naturally Britain would be able to rule permanently in India. The British officials who had a sympathy towards Indian thinking or Indian problems had never thought that this organization would come up at a later stage asking the British to get out of India. So that organization is known as Indian National Congress. The Indian National Congress was formed at Gokul Das Tejpal Sanskrit College in Bombay on 27th December 1885. At the first meeting, there were 72 members from different parts of India. Means there were members from Bombay, members from Calcutta, members from Delhi, members from Madras. Like the different areas, different members came together and they decided to form a national organization, and it was named as Indian National Congress. And W.C. Banerjee, Umesh Chandra Banerjee from Bengal, was made the first president of that organization. And they made rules and regulations for the organization. They have decided to have meeting every year in different parts of India. And the organization later became the center point of national movement in India. We must understand some of the important members of this movement or this organization of that time were Dadabhai Naoroji, Firoz Shah Mehta, Badruddin Taibji, Surendranath Banerjee, Ramesh Chandra Dutt, Harsit Dutt, Subramanya Iyer were prominent members of it. And they spoke for all the citizens of India or all the people of India. Not at that time, we were not citizens. The aim of the organization was to give good feedback to the Britishers and have a good administration in India. So in the beginning, Indian National Congress members and British administration had good relationship. British officials used to attend the meetings of Indian National Congress to come to know the problems of India. But later, in the meeting, the Indian leaders began to question the activities of the British government, the wrong policies or wrong activities of the British government and British officials. Naturally, the British officials were not ready to attend, and that led into a friction between Indian National Congress and British government. We were demanding to have a parliament. Parliament is the place where the thinkings and feelings and problems of the people are expressed. There should be free atmosphere in the parliament for every member to speak out whatever he feels, and the government will listen to the real problems of the people. So the leaders were demanding that there should be a legislative assembly for the people of India. British government agreed, but all the members were not elected and members were not elected not on adult franchise. Economic criteria was kept. So some of the Indians who were paying tax had the right to participate in the elections. only male members. So then the legislative assembly has become the imperial legislative assembly that has later become Parliament of India. And there were assemblies in the provinces like Madras, Bombay, Central United Province, like that different provinces. India was divided into different provinces. Like in modern period, we have the central parliament and state legislative assemblies. Then some of the other demand was to decrease the tax collected from the people. Britishers were not ready to accept that. Another demand we can say was to have civil services examinations to be held in India. Those who pass civil service examinations only could get high job or high post in the British rule in India. But the examinations were held in London. So only those people who could bear the expenditure could go to London and write the civil service examination. One of the prominent member in that is Mr. Subhash Chandra Bose. He has written and he has passed and he has joined in the civil service, later resigned and joined the freedom movement. So some of these demands were accepted by the British, and some of the laws were changed. Arms Act were stopped. Demand for arms, stopping of Arms Act and freedom of expression, speech, all those were demands of the Indian citizens. Those things were expressed through Indian National Congress sessions held in different parts of India every year during the month of December to January. Thus, the period of request to British to do many things for India, we call it a moderate period. Indian leaders in the meetings they used to discuss and write down important demands or the problems faced by Indian people to the British Governor General or Viceroy. The British Governor General or Viceroy would try to implement those things. So if British Governor General or Viceroy was not heeding to or listening to the demands put forward by Indian National Congress leaders, again we used to give the petition. Nothing else was being done. So that period from 1885 till 1905, we call it a moderate period. Request, we not accepted, what to do? That feeling. So, you must understand, the Indian society, people were just started to stand up. It is easy for us to blame them, but they were trying to stand up. At least they have tried. They have led the organization and made the people at least to stand up. Second level of the organization, that is from 1905 to 1919 till the entry of Gandhiji into the freedom struggle. So that was a period where people began to think that we can also do something. We have the capacity to do something. We have to do something. The thinkings were there, shoutings were there. And here and there we try to tell Britishers, we are not happy with you. Please vacate. Tilak was a prominent leader. Bal Bipin Chandrapal. So Bal, that they were the prominent leaders of that time. They were called radicals. In simple term, if we say, they told the Britishers who were sitting in our chair, told this, the chair you sit is ours, not yours. Please vacate. So that was the radical period. In earlier period, moderate period, we knew that chair, they are sitting the chair which we are bound to sit. They used to say, please, it is our chair, please give. No. If the answer of the British, Indian leaders could do nothing. Now Indian leaders have got little more courage and they are able to stand up and say, that is our chair. Please vacate. Louder. And made the Britishers to feel that it is our chair. You are sitting in the chair illegally. So that period, Lala Lajapat Rai, Chandrapal and Bal Gangadhar Tilak, that is why we call it Bal Pal Lal or Lal Pal Bal, we call it. They were the prominent leaders of it. During this time, British government wanted the national movement should be destroyed or closed. For that, they are playing the trick of divide and rule policy. They wanted to play between Hindus and Muslims of India. For that, in 1906, they supported the formation of Indian Muslim League in Dhaka. And they divided Bengal into two, East Bengal and West Bengal. You know, later that East Bengal has become East Pakistan and East Pakistan is a present Bangladesh. And West Bengal is a present West Bengal itself. It's a part of Indian Union. So the creation has that division which was implemented in 1905 by then Governor General of India named Lord Curzon, brought the people of Bengal more united. Hindus and Muslims began to show more solidarity, more friendship, more unity, and really when Lord Curzon left India, national movement had become more vigorous and active by the two terms we had started to use. They are boycott and Swadeshi. One is a negative activity, other one is a positive activity. Boycott means not use, not interact, not to have any relationship. So to boycott the British goods, not to have any interaction with the Britishers, is a very good thing. Naturally, the British materials that are produced in British factories were being sold in India. There will be no markets for it. Thus, a lot of changes took place. Next one was Swadeshi. Make in India and produce in India and use. That has come into a great way of national movement. Further, we will see tomorrow. Thank you very much.